joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm super excited about doing these interviews for the Arts Guide. So today we're talking with Laura Jayne Furness.
Yeah.
And Laura, you're in Comox, is that correct?
Well, technically we're in Courtenay, but we're right on the Comox Road dike.
So what is your main area of practice?
Probably drawing, and it's hard to pick drawing or painting, but that's what it is.
All right.
They're pretty even.
Sorry, what was that?
They're pretty even.
Pretty even. And what's unique about your practice?
Gosh, there's a lot. I sort of developed my own style. Some people can look at it and go, yeah, I knew that was yours. I've sort of been inspired recently by the West Coast, where I'm living, so that's come out in my art recently. But yeah, I think the double exposure inspiration came in somewhere when I moved here. And so an image within an image is sort of what I've, I guess, done a lot of recently, and people can recognize in my work now.
Is there a particular medium that you use all the time, or?
Yeah, so if it's painting, it's acrylic, and if it's drawing, I'm just in pencil and micron pen. So nothing crazy. I'm not into photoshopping my work or anything like that. I'm really not technical. So yeah, it's just old school, traditional art, really. Except I do use epoxy resin on some of my work, so I make it really shiny, and I guess that is a modern touch to it.
And how did you come to be doing this as an art form?
I have always loved art. So from a very young age, I was constantly drawing and painting. And grade 7 came around, and I thought my art teacher had the best job in the world. And so I became one myself. I went to school to become a trained art teacher, and I have that under my belt, though I don't work in the school system right now. I'm just kind of doing my own thing. So.
And so are you able to do this full time? Is this like your job?
Yeah, at first we thought this was just going to be sort of a side job thing to make extra money, and the job sort of just kept coming in, whether it was a charity function or a kids camp or a private paint party or whatever it was. Things kept falling in my lap, so I just kept going with it, and next thing you know, it became sort of a full-time job. So it's slowed down now. I'm not doing any classes, and I'm not really into the whole online thing, so haven't ventured into that yet, but you never know.
And so when you're not creating or giving classes, what do you do?
I'm a full-time mom. I have 2 kids, so I'm busy with my little ones, and if I can get in some time to create, I do. So obviously I have more time when they're at school. So lately it's been a little bit challenging, but I have gotten some pieces done. And I think actually they're some of my greatest work thus far in the drawing realm, so I'm proud of them.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So let's still dig a little deeper. So how long have you been here in the Comox Valley?
3 years now, coming up on 3 years.
Oh, very new. So where did you come from? What got you here?
I'm originally from Kelowna, BC, was born and raised there. And then I came over to go to Shawnigan Lake Private School for 10, 11, and 12, and ended up going to Mosman College in UVic, meeting my husband. We came back up here to do my practicum. I actually did it at Lake Trail.
Oh,
and
okay.
We lived in Bowser at the time, back in 2009. And then we moved to Kelowna, and the economy just fell apart. So we went off to Yellowknife for a year,
Ooh.
and then to Grand Prairie for 7 years, where the economy was better and we could make money. We used to come back here during that time, and it was a ghost town. There was nothing like it is today. It was like Comox was very, very quiet, and we couldn't see us making a living here. Corey's a plumber, so you know, we had to have construction bustling and things going. So we stayed as long as we could in Grand Prairie, and then I was ready to come back to BC.
what got you to Yellowknife in the first place?
Well, that was me being pregnant at the time with Bronwyn, and we were like, oh God, he's out of work. What do we do now? So I started sending off resumes to everywhere in Canada without Corey even knowing. And he got a bite from the guy in Yellowknife saying he had a really good job offer. And so we took it for a year. We have no regrets. It was a beautiful place to live, but very, very isolating. And obviously no family and friends there, so we ended up moving down closer, but still felt really, really far away. So it's good. It's so good to be home.
So where did you go to school for art instruction or art teaching, or what exactly?
Yeah, so Mosman College was my first sort of eye-opener to the art world. It was a visual arts program, so we did 2 years of like everything under the art realm world. So we did pottery and photography and drawing, painting, animation. I kind of dabbled in all of it, and then went to UVic to do the art education program there. So really learned how to teach art to other people.
And did you specialize in drawing and painting at that time, or was it just a general kind of?
It's just general. So you still learn everything, a little bit of everything. Like they had pottery classes there, but they sort of were designed so that you were making the pottery, but also learning how to design a lesson plan to somehow teach that one day.
Ah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your favorite part of learning how to become an art teacher?
Just probably that it came so natural to me. Like I was never an academic person. I wasn't super good at the sciences or the maths, anything like that. So it was really nice to be in a lane that I felt comfortable with for the first time.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say over this period has been your most transformational experience?
Oh, probably just that it opened so many doors. So when I first thought about doing this, there's so much questioning and self-doubt and, oh God, can I do this? And, you know, we all deal with that as artists, let alone trying to make a business out of it. So to even be able to have it go for 2 years was beyond my expectation, and so many little things opened, like the Kids Art for Kids Start in Campbell River that opened the door for charity functions. Just being able to give through what I do. I don't necessarily need a paycheck out of it, but you know, it's nice to be paid for those jobs too. But you know, it's more than that. And when you can give back with, you know, what you love to do, it's even more special.
So what would you say your biggest challenge has been becoming an artist?
Self-doubt, 100%. And I've heard so many artists say this, that I know that it's common, but it is something, even when you pick up the pencil every day, like there's this self-doubt that comes into play. What if this really sucks? What if this doesn't turn out? What if I get judged, or somebody thinks that I can't do this, or you know, what if I really flop this and then I start to lose confidence in it? You know, like all these stupid thoughts go through your head, and you really have to push through that every single time you create. It's not just something that goes through people's heads that haven't done it a lot. It's even for people who've done it for years and years. I think you have to push yourself sometimes through those mental blocks, and especially right now when we're all kind of cooped up and going, when is this going to end? And you know, you have so much going on in your brain, it's hard to find that place to go, okay, I can create.
So what would you say at this point in your career or your life in general has been your biggest success or triumph?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm really proud of the fact that I got, I'm not supposed to talk too much about it, but I did get my art chosen for the Island Music Fest poster this year. And I'm really excited for you guys to see it, because I think it's going to open a whole new sort of window of opportunities for me. But also I'm just really proud of the image, and I can't wait to finally be able to get together with people again and connect with people again through music and through art. And so now we're just waiting for that to be able to happen again. But yeah, that's a really big thing for them to have, you know, sought me out. I didn't come with a, you know, image to them at all. They found me and liked my art and wanted my image. So that was a really, really big pat on the back.
Yay for you.
Yeah.
So what are you working on right now? Do you have like a body of work that or a collection that you're working on, or a particular theme that you're working in, or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll show you my most recent drawings that have come out. This one was me longing for my cabin. So it's, I don't know if you can see very well, but a girl with her back, and so her hair is swept away, and just there's a loon that are up in my cabin. We hear them on the lake echoing, and I'm missing family, and I'm missing just the comforts of home. And so it's nice to be able to pick up a pencil and suddenly be brought back to that.
Beautiful.
Thanks. But yeah, I've got a couple commissions going right now. That one will be in an office in Kamloops, and one's for a friend, so that's always ongoing. This is another sketch that I did. Kind of neat things coming out of me. I don't really know where it's coming from. It's just that I'm reaching out to a place of needing, or my art therapy, and needing it to be soothing, and so I'm just kind of going with it.
So when you sit down to draw, or I mean, do you actually do that consciously, or does it just sort of hit you and it's like, now I need to draw? Or do you sit down and start out to draw and then hope something comes?
I've made it, I think it didn't always start this way, but I've made it more of a ritual for me, because it has been such a therapeutic thing for my mental health. So I do really like clear the scene, make sure the kids are busy doing, you know, things, and the house is calm, and I have music on, and I know that there's not going to be a knock on the door in 20 minutes, or I'm going to have to get up and deal with something. Like, it's kind of like, okay, I have an hour. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to plan out something. And it starts usually with a little bit of a plan, but it always leads to somewhere I can't predict.
So aside from the self-doubt and those kind of things, what is the hardest part of being an artist on a full-time basis? What do you struggle with the most besides the self-doubt?
Yeah, well, the income is very, like, some days you're rolling in it, and you just got a commission, and you just had a couple paint nights, and, you know, somebody paid you for a bunch of prints, and you're going, I'm winning, everything's amazing. And then the next week you're like, oh my God, I have my car payment, I have my rent due, and I have my TELUS payment, and now I'm broke. So you have moments where you're up and down financially, and I've had to really get smart with doing my taxes properly. I've learned the hard way how to do that. But just making sure that you have money down the road. And so it's not like I have my teacher paycheck that comes in every month, and I know exactly how much it's going to be, and usually it was already spent before I got it anyways. But yeah, so it's a little bit more unpredictable for sure that way.
Where do you find your inspiration, or who is your influence, or what artists have influenced you along the way?
Roy Henry Vickers is a big one. If you look at his work, and it's funny, I went into his studio when I was really young. I don't think I knew the impression that he made on me until this year. I noticed that he started watching my Instagram stories, and I'm going, what? This can be him. This has got to be fake, you know? And because I look up to him in that sort of way. And I remember my dad saying to me when we walked through his gallery, you know, this could be you one day. So I think it planted a little seed in my little brain, you know, that I took forward with me. So to have somebody like that watching my work now is it's a huge thing. But yeah, like I love every art. I think it's so great. Even the crappy stuff I'm like interested in, and what went through their brain in order to make that. And I really love it all. I think there's so much talent, even just in Comox and Courtenay. I think we all have a different flavor and some to add. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Is there anybody who supported you along the way or otherwise impacted your artistic career that you would like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I think there's a couple teachers. Mr. Rolston was a huge one at Shawnigan. He's retired now, but he planted the seed in my brain that if you develop your own style, you have something that nobody else has. And same thing, like when you're that age, you're like, whatever, it goes in one ear and out the other. And then you find yourself becoming an art teacher in university and going, I remember him saying that. And here I am developing my own style. Like maybe I took that subconsciously. And yeah, like those are the things, those are the people that build that foundation for you and give you that inspiration to send you forward. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Is there anything else you'd like to share today? Anything specific about your practice or your work or just your journey that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think some people are waiting to see if I'm going to put out classes again. The answer is yes. I think I did get a little bit jaded with all this happening and people going, I want my money back, and me going, this is stressful and I don't want to do this anymore. But we've all kind of had a breather and the dust has settled, and I do really miss everybody. I miss having somebody at this big table, doing art with me. So hopefully that continues sooner than later. And I just really want to encourage people to just keep creating and keep posting and sharing, because it really lifts everybody up, inspires all of us.
Awesome. And so where can we follow you?
My Instagram and my Facebook, it's just at Laura Jayne Art Studio or just Laura Jayne Art Studio. And my middle name is spelled with an E, so it's Jayne.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.